Hi everyone, I am Tiffany Ogunwe, also known as Mrs. O, and I am the Assistant Director of Communications and Marketing at GFS. Today we have Senior Carly Baker, a GFS Jenkins Fellow, and Grace Callwood of the Baltimore nonprofit organization called We Can Serve. So a little bit more about the Jenkins Fellows program. It is a program that is supported by the Elsie Foster Jenkins 53 Endowment Fund for Community Service and supports Garrison Forest's Service League community outreach initiatives, which has sent over 70 students to serve and assist with international and local service projects. In addition, the program brings noted community service leaders to campus to speak and sponsor the Jenkins Fellows program. So in 2019, Grace, we had the pleasure of having you as one of our Jenkins Fellows presenters. And you were only 14 years old at the time. And you came and you spoke on your experience as a community leader and a founder and chairwoman of the Board of Advisors for the We Can Serve movement. So I still remember that presentation and feeling goosebumps from your poise and maturity, your leadership and compassion. And Grace, if you could just start us off and tell us a little bit more about We Can Serve.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. We Can Serve is a nonprofit organization. We believe that happiness shouldn't have to wait, and we work to bring swift solutions to children in need, being homeless, sick, and foster children. And we are run by an all-youth board of advisors ages 8 to 18. And so together we brainstorm, execute, plan out these projects, and it's something we all really love to do.
Awesome. Um, can you explain Camp Happy? What inspired you to create the program? And also, what I've been wondering, is it something that you plan on continuing once we hopefully get out of the woods with COVID?
Yes, I created Camp Happy in 2015 at Anna's House, which is a homeless shelter for homeless families, initially for women and children. And Camp Happy is basically a free summer enrichment program for homeless and foster youth. And during Camp Happy, we have special guests come in and present. We do field trips and we have lots of fun activities, usually along some type of theme, either per day or per week, depending on how long the camp is. And so that is my favorite project because pre-COVID-19, it was the most interactive project that we had. And we really got to get to know the youth and see them every day for at least a couple of weeks and build relationships. And so after COVID-19 hit, I didn't want the pandemic to stop us from doing Camp Happy, but I did want to abide by all of the guidelines. And so we created Virtual Camp Happy. And Virtual Camp Happy is where we had our youth camp counselors like Carly Baker come in and do video tutorials on different projects focused around STEM, exercise, different science, food, and different things like that for the kids to enjoy at home.
Do you think you will keep the virtual component?
I do think that we will keep the virtual component because we were able to expand even more. Initially, Camp Happy was just made for homeless kids, and then around 2018, we expanded to foster youth as well. And so I'm hoping that we can actually keep the online platform even in years to come because we were able to expand to sick children as well, and really any kid who was bored at home and had internet access. And so I think that this virtual component would be really great.
That's awesome. And then, so how did you recruit counselors? Like, and Carly, how did you even find out about this?
Well, I can start with how we found counselors. So we really reached out to people who have counseled with us, I guess, before, mainly board members, and then asking them to spread the word to their friends, us reaching out to our friends, and letting our supporters know. And so that was some of the ways that we gathered about 15 to 16 counselors this year.
Okay. Carly, how did you find out about it?
I had found out about Camp Happy during our day of service when Grace came to speak at our school, and I was very moved and inspired by her. So that's how I found out about the program and about We Can Serve and then Camp Happy. And then I found out that I can be a camp counselor through Miss Ackerman and talking to Grace's mom, who was very helpful and helped me become part of this awesome organization.
Very cool. And so tell me this, how long did Camp Happy last? Like, was it a couple of months? Like, how long was the entire program?
So I can take this one. Camp Happy. So I guess the planning process was really about maybe 4 to 5 months, I'd say. It was around, I'd say maybe April, May-ish when we started really getting into heavy planning, and then it lasted out until August was when the program ended. But it actually opened up for youth, and it was mainly finalized from June 16th to about the end of August. And so during that entire time, we still had counselors, especially Carly, still recording videos and making content so we could keep uploading more and more schedules for youth so that they would have something new and exciting to look forward to.
Okay, and what age group did you say it was really targeted towards?
Camp Happy was mainly targeted towards elementary school youth, but was applicable to any ages. It's just with the different type of content, we figured it'd be very thoroughly explained for an elementary aged youth group.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your experience with Camp Happy? And just also after that, just your experience at being a Jenkins Fellow at Garrison Forest School.
Working with Camp Happy was really fun. I was very nervous to start because this had already been a thing going on for so long, and the people working with Grace on the board of directors were just so nice, and I just really had a great time. And I was nervous on the first meeting, but then a couple minutes into it, Grace was very friendly and opening and just welcoming, and I didn't feel afraid, and I could speak my mind, and I could help them plan so we could help these kids have a great summer.
Grace, can you go a little bit deeper into the partnership with GFS and how that has been mutually beneficial for us, I know especially, and for We Can Serve as well?
Yeah, so our relationship with Garrison Forest has been for quite a while sometime. I think it was May of last year that May of last year that I spoke. And so I came in for the Elsie Foster Jenkins. And then we also were very happy to partner with Garrison Forest because some of the girls did some sketches on canvases for Camp Happy last year. And it was a project or an activity we had called Painting by the Pier, where our camp counselors and campers were able to paint on the canvases that were sketched by Garrison Forest girls, and they really enjoyed that. And then fast forward to last fall, we partnered with them. Garrison Forest collected a ton of non-perishable breakfast foods for our Breakfast Bags Bonanza, where we give non-perishable breakfast foods to homeless and foster youth over the Thanksgiving and winter break. And during that stuffing party, which I remember Carly being at, we stuffed about 250 bags. And then the thespian.
I had fun meeting you there. That was really fun to do.
Yeah, that was awesome. There were about only maybe 12 or 14 of us, but we got it done in a really good amount of time. And then fast forward to I guess a little bit later in the fall, the Thespian Club donated to We Can Serve. They had used their collectings and gave it to We Can Serve. And then also earlier, very early this year, Garrison Forest stuffed about 300 extra special goodie bags. And so those were also amazing. There was a ton of candy that came from them. They had pencils, they had stickers, they had little stamps, they had a bunch of stuff in there. And so this partnership has been really amazing.
So is it safe to say that with you presenting as one of the Jenkins Fellows presenters, that kind of nourished and established the partnership?
Definitely, yeah, I think so. Because I was able to get to know a lot of the girls, getting to ask them questions, them ask me questions, taking pictures with them, keeping in touch with them even over social media, and then also building a relationship for them to be interested in our work and us to hopefully get them as volunteers.
I remember they swarmed the stage, like after your speech, they all came up there and they were like, "We want a picture." I've never seen that before with the girls, like how engaged and interested they were, and just I think your words really resonated with not just the students but with all of us. So that was really, really cool to see. So both of you, and Carly, you can go first. Explain why it's important for you to give back to your local community and the impact it has, because I was listening in on your Jenkins Fellow presentation, and you said that it was important to also, it's great to do international work, but it's also important to give back to the local community. So can you just explain that a little bit more and why it was significant for you?
Yes. So I think it's very important to do local work because it's about connecting with your community and meeting people you might not have ever met if your paths hadn't crossed. And I think service work is just a great way of bringing people together. Might be from different parts of the city for making people smile and making people know that they're not alone and that I can give back to a community that has given me so much.
So just the importance of giving back to your local community, and why it's so significant in your life. And I know that's what kind of encouraged you to even start We Can Serve, but just the impact it's had for you and the Baltimore area.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely one of the main, I guess, pushing parts of why I started We Can Serve. And it's really part of it is because I love making people happy, whether it's friends, family, acquaintances, anybody. But it's also because when I was 7 years old and I had cancer, I often blamed myself for my diagnosis because I had no idea what it was or what it meant or how one could get cancer until I realized that lots of other kids had it for some reason. And so it's been very important for me to share that same message of it's not your fault to other kids in sad situations, such as homelessness, sickness, or being in foster care.
We'll start with you. If you can explain just how we've all had to pivot during COVID, but what that especially has done with you and the organization, and what you gained from the overall experience.
Yeah, so I'd say COVID-19 was definitely quite something. It personally had me kind of I guess overall it really strengthened my adaptability because it showed me different ways to achieve a goal, whether that was personally with schoolwork or chores or different things like that, being around the house, but also with We Can Serve because I just had to think outside the box. My team and I had to think outside the box as to how we can still help people without putting their lives in danger, to be honest. And so I was very grateful for all the supporters that we've been able to get through this virtual process.
What about you, Carly?
I had to change my Jenkins plan, which was actually to travel back to China, where I'm adopted from, and work in a local orphanage. So I was very distraught that I had to change my plans, but this was a great experience I had. And something that it taught me working with We Can Serve and just COVID-19 in general is how to take the bad and make the best out of it, how to find the positivity in the darkness. And just that also helped me just learn to keep going and be determined and not give up.
I love that. Yes. And I think same with me, finding the happiness and the positivity in no matter what the circumstance is, and just trying to pivot and maneuver and just make it work how it works. And it's challenging because a lot of people have had to change plans, but I also remind myself that there's people who have lost loved ones. And so me not having my son's first birthday party is nothing compared to people who have lost someone due to COVID. So it's all about mindset and keeping things in perspective. So thank you. Now, what advice, Carly, would you give to other students who are hoping to become a Jenkins Fellow in the future?
Something I touched on in my presentation is don't be afraid to go out for the Jenkins Fellowship right now, because I don't know what's going to happen, but even if you can't go abroad, which is one of the highlights of doing this trip, is that you get to go out into the world and see new cultures and get to interact with that at such a young age. I think that people should still go out and try to get the Jenkins Fellowship. You are supported the whole way through it. And I think it's just a wonderful opportunity that I don't think it exists at too many other schools. I think this is a really rare opportunity that people should seek and go for.
And can you quickly just explain the process of becoming a Jenkins Fellow?
We were given the overview presentation by Ms. Ackerman, and then I had to fill out an application. There's a lot of research behind that because they need to know what your travel itinerary is going to be like, and then where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, all that stuff, that information. And then they choose from all the applications. I was so lucky that I got chosen because I had been dreaming of getting the Jenkins for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, so if COVID wasn't here, you would be accepted for your trip, and they would fund your trip and you would get to go. But with COVID, they had another meeting with all of the students, and they told us, we're here for you. We're going to help each and every one of you find a new thing to do. And for me, Miss Ackerman was such a big part of me meeting Grace and her organization, is that she gave me about 5 different organizations that had to do with working with kids. Because I said to her, the whole point of me going back with this organization adopting to go to China was to work with kids and make a difference. So I said that to her, and she found all these amazing organizations for me to choose from, and that's how I chose We Can Serve.
Grace, what advice would you have, similar to what I just was speaking with Carly about, but like what advice would you have to not only just students, but just anyone in general who wants to start a nonprofit or wants to give back? What advice would you give?
Yeah, well, the main advice I would give, first and foremost, I'm a big believer that there's no age limit on service, especially since I started out so young and often wanted to go for big opportunities. There was typically an age limit of 13 and up. And so I definitely believe that there is no age limit on service. And for starting off a nonprofit, the key things are to gather support. I created an all-youth board of advisors. We started out as a board of 13 and now we are a board of 5. And that's okay with me because, things change. But definitely, whether it's your family, church family, friends, school, community, whatever it is, gather up support. And then also to have a clear mission so that you are sure of what your target goal is and what your community and supporters are sure of with your goal.
Awesome. I love that. And again, what age did you start the organization?
I started We Can Serve at the age of 7.
At the age of 7. That's amazing. Well, thank you both. And enjoy your weekend coming up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, ladies.
Bye.